The greatest risk in the world is being unwilling to take a risk. You got to understand that. The greatest risk in the world is being unwilling to take a risk. It's because you're safe, and that's when you fall, is when you think everything's okay. But what happens is you see a speaker, and there's so much fear associated with this. And I'm here to tell you, there's no fear in doing the business. The fear is getting from here to here. It's not in doing it. I'm in a comfort zone right now. I am in my comfort zone right now. I'm not in my comfort zone if I'm not doing something in the business. It's the fear was not this. The fear was getting from here to here. And this is going to make you so sick. Let me tell you how you overcome your fear. Books, tapes, and seminars. I'll get that over with up front. Here's the thing. I used to hate hearing this. I used to go to these meetings, and it was without fail that somebody would stand up there, and it's like a drum roll. Here they come. It's going to be books, tapes, and seminar time. And so I'll get it out of the way up front. I'm going to be blunt with you, too. And I'm going to ask you not to take it wrong. Anything I say to you, if you're offended by anything I say, please understand you've misunderstood what I've tried to say. That's not my point. Believe me, Ron didn't call me up and say, please come and offend everybody in our group and blow them out of the business. I mean, that's not my purpose for being here. But I'm going to be blunt with you. And I'm going to be real upfront with you. Books, tapes, and seminars overcomes the fear. I hated books. Listen, when I got in this business, I graduated from the second oldest college in the country, the College of William & Mary, and I had read 2 books through growing up and through college. I used to read Cliff Notes in college. Y'all know what those are? You know, that's what I read. You know, the yellow with the black stripes, those are the Cliff Notes. I read that through college. I never read books in college. My reading had consisted of Brian's Song, and I read all the Curious George books. Remember that Curious George Goes to Washington? You know what I'm talking about? Curious George Rides a Bicycle. Okay, those were the books I had read. I didn't read those in college necessarily, but I mean, I read those growing up. And what was wild about it is I'm out of college, I'm thinking I'm out of reading now. Thank goodness. Now, I could read, don't misunderstand me, but I didn't like to read. And so I got this business, and they said, read 15 minutes a day. Well, when you don't like to read, 15 minutes a day is like 3 days. In 15 minutes, if you understand. Sandy would do this. She'd lay down, we'd be in bed, and she'd put a book in my hand, and she'd say, now go. And I'd sit there like this, and it felt like I read all night, and I said, well, how are we doing? Am I almost through? She goes, no, you got 8 more minutes to go. But I read every night. If you're not on Book of the Month, you're fooling yourself. It's amazing. I want to be an emerald. I want to be a diamond, but I'm not going to read. You're fooling yourself. Just understand that. You're talking to a guy that hated to read. I understand that. But I did it every night. I'm passionate about it now because I've learning so much more about myself through reading and about other people. But if you're not on Book of the Month, you're fooling yourself. Tapes. Let's get it over with. Standing order tapes. How many people you sponsor say, I'm going to be a diamond, but I'm not going to get the standing order tapes? Let me tell you something, folks. Here's what we did. We got in the business. I remember doing this. I remember getting that tape and saying, somebody is getting rich from this. Did y'all ever say that? You never said, okay, some of you didn't. I did. Somebody's getting rich from this. And it was me. It was, you know what was wild about it? What was wild about it is it wasn't from the tapes, it was from the information I got on the tapes taught me how to build big business, retire at the age of 34. It's wild to think about the impact. You know, picture this. It'd be like being a doctor and starting your practice, and somebody comes up to you to sell you some tools, and they say, Doc, you need a stethoscope. You need to have a stethoscope. And you're saying, I'm not going to buy a stethoscope. Somebody is getting rich when I buy that stethoscope. Now, can you imagine your patient walks in and says, Doc, I'm having a little problem. You lean over and you say, well, let me check this thing out and see how you're doing. You look so foolish as a physician to do that. I'm not going to buy a scalpel. So you borrow somebody's next door. It's wild, folks. People do it in this business all the time. Because they don't see it as a business. They don't see it as a business. They see it as a hobby. They treat it as a hobby. It costs some money. Treat it as a business. Make a lot of money. It's just the difference in the way people see things. Standing order and go-getter tape. Why do you use standing order and go-getter tape? Because it's the information you need. Are you going to like all the tapes? No. Do I? No. Who cares? I didn't like every day of work 65 hours a week, but I went every day 65 hours a week. I didn't want to go. I liked my job. I would have loved my job if I had to do it about 8 hours a week. If I do it like I do this business, it would have been a great job. I mean, understand that. But I didn't like to go to work. But I went to work every day. because they told me I had to. So I didn't argue when I got in this. I got on standing order and go-getter tape. I got on Book of the Month. I did things I didn't want to do. I started reading. I started listening to tapes. I didn't want to do it, but I did it. Some of the tapes, some of the tapes I couldn't relate to. I mean, some of the tapes I could not relate to, but somebody in my group did. Standing order and go-getter tape. And lastly, functions. Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you this. Functions. It's the open meetings. It's the mini functions. It's the regionals. You don't understand my circumstances. Yes, I do. Sure I do. Listen, after 4 years in the business, I understand your circumstances. I've seen it many, many times. I understand it. But I'm down in Honduras a week ago, and I've got a guy to an open meeting that rides 70 miles on the back of a horse and 50 miles in the back of a truck to come to an open meeting just to hear about this business. I don't think we understand their circumstances. But he's there. I had another guy, and this is one reason I'm probably not the right guy to do a mini rally. Okay, I've been in Honduras 4 or 5 times in the last 2 months. And so I've seen things that we take for granted. I just sponsored a guy in the business down there. He's an educated school teacher, and he can't get a job as a school teacher, so he's working at Pizza Hut 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, makes $150 a month. 72 hours a week, $150 a month, and even down there, folks, that's not good money. Understand that, but that's what they pay. And I'm sitting there talking to him, and he looks at me with concern in his eyes, and he says, "Will you help me do this still?" After he told me about his work schedule, I said, "Absolutely, I'll help you do this." He goes, "Oh, thank you so much." He goes, "I know it's going to be an obstacle for you, but I'll overcome it." So I'm going to be blunt with you. Do what it takes to succeed. But Bo, you don't understand. I've been doing it for 3 years. I don't care. Napoleon said, the greatest single attribute of a soldier is not loyalty and it's not courage. It's endurance. The greatest single attribute of a soldier is endurance. You do what you have to do to get where you have to get, folks. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to get there. Be at the functions. Be at all the functions. Be the first one there. Sandy and I, every chance we got, we were on the front row, and we got as close to the front row as we could. But understand, how do you get here? You get here through Book of the Month. You get here through SOT and Go-Getter, and you get here by going to all the functions. You didn't think I was laying in bed at night wondering if this would work? You didn't think I didn't get aggravated when I had to listen to another tape of somebody saying how fast they did it? You didn't think I didn't like going to another function where somebody talked about being fired up? And give me a break. I used to sit there angry half the time because after 8 months of spilling from the month we got in, and this was work, from the month we got in, I never showed the plan less than 15 times a month. Ever. Never have in the business. In 4 years, I've never shown it less than 15 times a month. From the first month in the business on. I've never shown it less than 15, and 1 month I showed it 72 times. But that was, and I'll explain that, but up to that point, I'd shown it 15 to 18 times without fail. Every day, listening to a tape. Every day reading books. Every day just praying this thing would work for us. And that's what our business looked like, our Emerald Ship, after 8 months. See, all these people quit around this single grandmother. That's a pearl leg today, folks. Now understand something. This is my sister-in-law. That's my sister. Now understand, my sister-in-law was the shyest person you'll ever meet in your life. She was had a bad divorce and basically had no self-esteem. It was one of those kind of situations. Some jerk tells her after 5 years of marriage, "I never loved you to begin with." It affects you. And after knowing her for years, she would look at my feet and not my face. She couldn't talk to me. She was a $12,000 a year bank teller. I showed her this business. First thing she said is, "I could never do this." She had turned down a $1,500 a year raise. And when you're making $12,000 a year, $1,500 is a fortune. She turned it down because they told her, "You're going to have to start asking people if they want to open up a savings account." And she said, "I can't do that." That's called, folks, shy, introverted. She said, "There's no way I could do this." So she was in the group then. That's a pearl leg today. That was my best friend that got in the business for one reason. He was my best friend. That's the only reason they got in. Didn't build it for that reason, but that's the reason they got in. Built it for other reasons. That's an emerald leg today. But understand, after 8 months of spilling my guts out, that's what it looks like. I understand. I mean, I know what it's like to go out and show the plan and sponsor somebody that doesn't do anything. But I know what it's like to get back up in the morning and do it again. And stop worrying about what happened to you. And the only reason I started showing that to people, I only started that a couple months ago, actually showing people what our business looked like, our Emerald Ship looked like after 8 months, is so many people think Oh, you just must have had a big group. Quick. That's what it looked like, folks. SOT Go-Getter Book of the Month. Fair? That's what it takes to build it. Because what else do you think kept me through that? That'd have been so easy to look at people. That grandmother wasn't doing anything. My sister-in-law wasn't doing anything. But you know what? I'd be driving with her in the car and I'd see a tape in her cassette player. And I knew she was being fed information that I couldn't feed her because I was her brother-in-law. It's wild, folks, what this thing will do. But it's every night, it's every night, it's every night, it's every night, it's every night. And you got to make a list. You know, we talk about putting pictures up and all that kind of stuff. Listen, I don't know. I was a vice president for one of the largest this red umbrella insurance company that traveled around a lot. Okay, you know what I'm talking about? And that's what I did. And they started talking about dreams and everything. Well, see, I could relate to dreams, but I couldn't relate to putting them up necessarily in my refrigerator so my friends could come over and look at them. I mean, I couldn't relate to that part of it, but I could relate to the concept of it because I was raised by parents that said you can do what you want to do, you can have what you want to have, and you can be whatever you want to be. It's the greatest, freest country in the world. Now do something with your life. That's the way I was raised. So I could relate to that sense of accomplishment. Why is it immigrants coming to this country have a 4 times greater chance of becoming millionaires in our own country than we do? They'll die for free enterprise. They'll die for the free enterprise system that we just sit back and take for granted. It's wild. But that's what it looked like. You know, it's funny. They talk about making this list, and I'll tell you tonight about our list, but let me tell you, the biggest list you got is the one you haven't made yet. Because it's people you don't know. I mean, there's 250 million people in this country. Obviously, you don't know 250 million people. And that's the biggest list. And what I'm going to teach you now, and it's because this is I always said, man, when we get our shot, I'm going to tell you how to contact, how to invite, and how to overcome objections. And I'm going to tell you that to do that well, I had a guy come up to me one time and he said, I can't wait to have your posture. I can't wait to go emerald and have your posture. And I said, no, wait a minute. That's like saying I'm in the business, I want to be a diamond tomorrow. It's not going to happen. It's a process that gets you to diamond. It's a posture. Posture is a result of confidence. Confidence comes through repetition. Repetition is nothing more than practice, and brand new people need to practice the most. It's a process of practicing, developing the repetition, the habits of the repetition that give you the confidence that gives you the posture. Show you an example. What I'm going to teach you right now are skills in this business, folks. You're not born with this stuff. It's not like, oh, I wish I could be like you. It's not like that. It's not because you're extroverted you can build this business. It's because you got something in here that's burning inside of you can build this business because you want to practice. And I want to show you an example of what I'm talking about. Just work with me on this and follow my train of thought. If you've ever taken a musical instrument lesson in your entire life, stand up. No, wait. Now I want to show. Now I want you to think about what I'm going to show you. If I took that instrument that you took the lesson in, I brought it and set it up on the stage, and I said, "Now come on up here and impress people. Stay standing if you can impress people." Now, for those of you that sat down, don't feel bad because some of these people are lying. Okay, we know that. No, I'm kidding. Thank you. Okay, go ahead and sit down. But let me ask you something. Why so many people stand up and so many people sit down? Practice. It's practice. They didn't want to, listen, when everybody else was out playing, they didn't want to stay home and practice the piano or the guitar or the flute. They didn't want to do that. But they did it repetitively over and over again. And because of that, they developed the skills. What is contacting, inviting, and overcoming objections? They're skills. You develop through practice. It's nothing you're born with. It's basic repetition. It's basic skills, contacting, inviting, and overcoming objections. And I'm convinced that when you develop those skills, you'll excel in this business. When you develop those skills, that's when you'll excel in this business. So how do you contact? This is all it is. And then I'm just going to do it the way I do it. This is what I do. And I'm not one of these kind of people that says use the spirit of the words. What's 2 plus 2? Okay, it's not 5, even if you want it to be 5. It's 4. I'm kind of one of these guys. This is the choleric part. Sorry about this. I'm one of these guys that says there are certain words to use in a certain way, and if you use them a certain way, use your personality to use them, but use the words in a certain way. How do you call family and friends? We tell you to call family and friends first. Y'all ever sponsored somebody that said this to you, that said, listen, this really looks good, but I am not calling my family and friends. I wouldn't show them this, but I want to build the business. Have y'all ever done that? Y'all ever sponsor anybody like that, or am I the only guy? Okay, so let me tell you why. Let me explain to you there's a reason you do everything. Why do you call your friends and family first? 2 major reasons. Number 1, who do you love the most? Family and friends. Thank God my sister thought enough of me to call me. Thank God my sister thought enough of me to call me. Who do you love the most? Your family and friends. That's why you call them first. Number 2, who criticizes you the quickest? Family and friends. Believe it or not, that's the second reason you call them. They criticize you the quickest. What does that do? If I truly believe that you're a gladiator in this. I believe with all my heart you're building a business, folks. You're an athlete. You're a gladiator in this business. And you need a suit of armor that's very, very strong. And so you need to get it up front. Your family and friends will criticize you the quickest. It helps you develop your suit of armor. It helps you put that on you from the people closest to you so that you can go out and take it from the people that aren't close to you. Number 1, who do you love the most? And number 2, who criticizes you the quickest? Because you need a suit of armor in this business if you ever want to build it. If you ever want to build it successfully, you need your equipment. You need the right equipment on to go forth and take it from other people. So here's how you call your family and friends. This is all I do. Real simple. Hey, Bob, this is Bo. Listen, I'm really in a hurry. Don't have a lot of time to talk right now. What are you doing tomorrow night at 7 o'clock besides watching TV? Number 1, I clear the night. I'm sorry, I established a sense of urgency. Hey, Bob, this is Bo. Listen, I'm really in a hurry. Don't have a lot of time to talk right now. What are you doing tomorrow night at 7 o'clock besides watching TV? And I clear the night. Well, Bo, I'm busy. Can you cancel it? No, I can't. Great. I got to run. I'll call you tomorrow. I'm on and off the phone. It's not a big deal. Hey, Bob, this is Bo. Listen, I'm really in a big hurry. Don't have a lot of time to talk right now. What are you doing tomorrow night at 7 o'clock besides watching TV? Well, nothing, Bo. Why? Listen, man, I got a business. Now, listen, how am I talking to my family? Listen, man. Listen, buddy. Listen, knucklehead. Whatever you call the people, whatever your relationship is with them, don't call your closest family member and say, hello, mother, this is your son. I'll explain that tonight, folks. But you want to... Hey, Bob, this is Bo. Listen, man, I'm really in a hurry. Don't have a lot of time to talk right now. What are you doing tomorrow night at 7 o'clock besides watching TV? Well, nothing. Why? Listen, I got a business project I'm putting together. That's the word I use. I use business project. And I'll tell you why. I can't use... Business opportunity didn't fit me. When I would say I got a business opportunity, they'd say things like this. Is it Amway? They started going down a line of things trying to figure out what it was. So business opportunity didn't fit for me. Neither did I'm expanding a business. Because my family and friends would say things like this. What are you doing now? You know what I mean? Who knows you the best? Come on. I was that guy. I'll tell you, I was that guy that was looking at business opportunities all the time. So I would say this. I got a business project I'm putting together with a buddy of mine. Looks like you and me can make some money together. I want to swing by, run some numbers by. If it turns you on, I'll give you some information. If not, flush it. No big deal. That was how I approached my family and friends. Hey, Bob, listen, man, I'm really in a hurry. I don't have a lot of time to talk right now. What are you and Mary doing tomorrow night at 7 o'clock besides watching TV? Well, nothing. Why? Listen, I got a business project I'm putting together with a buddy of mine. Looks like you and me can make some money together. It's a very powerful statement, folks. Looks like you'd be good at this. Hey, I think I found something right down your alley. No, looks like you and me can make some money together. What I want to do is swing by tomorrow about 7 o'clock, run some numbers by. If it turns you on, I'll give you some information. If not, flush it. No big deal. And that's the way I approached it. I never begged anyone to get in. If not, no big deal. I left a back door so wide open for my family and friends, they felt comfortable sitting down and listening. Because they knew there was a back door wide open, they could walk right out of it if they felt like it. It wasn't a big deal. And then like, maybe like yours, but they would say creative things like this. What is it? Did y'all ever hear that? Or here's a good one. I love this one. It's my favorite. Is it Amway? Those were the two things. Now I'm going to tell you a secret. No one's afraid to contact anyone. No, you're not afraid to contact people. You know what you're really afraid of? How to respond to them when they start asking you questions. That's what people are afraid of. It's not contacting. It's how to respond when they ask you questions. Well, I'm going to teach you the two responses. If you learn the two responses, you can handle anything. Is it Amway? This is what I teach. It sure is. What do you know about it? Is it Amway? It sure is. What do you know about it? With excitement, it sure is. Answered their question. What do you know about it? Well, I don't think I'd be interested in that. Interested in what? Well, doing that. Doing what? Well, doing Amway. What do you know about it? Still haven't answered my question. Fair? I mean, it's fair. They said, is it Amway? I said, it sure is. What do you know about it? Why do I ask that question? Because I'm going to let them tell me what they don't know about it. I mean, that's all that's going to happen. And I'm very unassuming. Hey, it is. Sure is. What do you know about it? I don't think I'd be interested in that. Well, interested in what? Well, doing Amway. What do you know about it? Let's be honest. I don't want to sell stuff to my friends. No kidding, me neither. Obviously, you're familiar with phase 1 of the business. I'm involved in phase 3. It's a whole different kind of business. Tell you what, Bob, I got some time available tomorrow, about 7 or 9. I'll run phase 3 by you. If it appeals to you, great. If not, at least you'll know what it is. Flush it. That's all I say. Or they'll say this, what is it? And I'll say something like, it's part of an outfit called Joy Enterprises. You ever heard of it? It's a very different question than is it Amway. Understand, to follow me. Is it Amway? It sure is. What do you know about it? What is it is a completely different question. What is it? It's part of my upline diamond, Barry Joy. Use your upline. I had somebody say, well, is that really what it is? Absolutely. Let me tell you something, folks. On my income taxes, nowhere on my income tax return does it say Amway. Nowhere. When it says, what kind of business is it? Consumer Products Distributing. That's the name of my business. Can you tell me a little bit about it? Absolutely. Matter of fact, when we get together, I'll give you all the details. What's best, 7 or 9? Here's what people say. Well, can you tell me a little bit about it? Listen, I'd love to, but I can't tell you anything on the phone. But when we get together, I'll give you all the details. Right? Isn't that what we say? You know what they hear? No, I can't tell you anything. So let them ask, well, can you tell me a little bit about it? Absolutely. Matter of fact, when we get together, I'll give you all the details. What's best, 7 or 9? Same answer, but what did they hear? Absolutely. Full disclosure. Tell you everything you want to know. What's best, 7 or 9? No, I mean, can you tell me a little bit about what are you doing exactly with this guy? Oh, he owns his own consumer products distributing company. I mean, like, what does he distribute? Well, he's hooked up with people like Magnavox, Kellogg's, Van Heusen, folks like that. Listen, Bob, like I told you, I'm really in a hurry. Is tomorrow better or is Wednesday better for you? You follow me? You follow me? I'll do this again, but I'm telling you, what is it and is it Amway? If you're prepared with those two sets of responses, you know what we used to do? I used to lay in bed. I even took a tape recorder one time, and here's what I taped. What is it? With a pause. Can you tell me a little bit about it? Absolutely. Matter of fact, to give you all the details when we get together. What's best, 7 or 9? No, I mean, what are you doing exactly? I'm hooked up with a guy that owns his own consumer products distributing company. Well, what does he distribute? Hey, he's hooked up with people like Magnavox, Kellogg. I used to drive down the road and play the questions. Then pause long enough to memorize it. Why? Second nature. Second nature. I wanted it to roll. It's like when those of you that learned how to play the piano, you knew the scales. You could look at the book, you could look at the keys, you could look at your fingers, and you knew from here what you had to hit. But in the beginning, even though you knew it, it never came out that way. Well, what happens in this business if you don't practice? Okay, you know what you're supposed to say. You haven't practiced it enough, so what happens to you? If somebody asks you a question, you go, well, you know, it's a pretty good thing we're doing. Y'all ever done that? You know what I'm talking about? It doesn't come out right. It's called practice. Is it Amway? Sure is. What do you know about it? Nah, I don't think I'd be interested in that. Interested in what? Well, you know, doing that. Doing what? Well, doing Amway. What do you know about it? Oh, I don't want to sell stuff to my friends. I'm kidding, man. Me neither. Obviously, you're familiar with phase 1 in the business. I'm involved in phase 3. It's a whole different kind of business. Tell you what, Bob, I got some time available tomorrow, 7 or 9. Why don't we get together? I'll run phase 3 by. If it turns you on, I'll give you some information. If not, flush it. No big deal. But at least you'll know what phase 3 is all about. What is it, Bo? It's part of an outfit called Joy Enterprise. You ever heard of it? Well, no. Can you tell me a little bit about it? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'll give you all the details when we get together. What's best, 7 or 9? No, I mean, what are you doing exactly with this guy? Well, he owns his own consumer products distributing company. Well, like, what does he distribute? Guys hooked up with people like Magnavox, Kellogg's, Van Heusen, folks like that. Now, pick 3 other companies if you want to. What do you distribute? Think about it for a minute. American Tourister, BF Goodrich, Botany 500, Canon, Royal, Avanti, Sanyo, Seiko, Haynes, Genie, Jockey, London Fog, Captain Crunch Cereal, Life Cereal, Brock's Candies, GM Ford, Chrysler, Porsche, Audi, Mercedes, Rolls, Jaguar, BMW, Del Monte Vegetables, Del Monte Raisins, Ocean Spray Juices, Amoco Oil, LA Gear, Tennis Shoes, Gold Gym Workout Clothes, Botany 500 Suits, Champion Workout Clothes, Ketchup and Mustard, Peanut Butter and Jelly, Snickers Candy Bars, Milky Way Candy Bars, Baby Ruth Candy Bars, M&M's Plain or Peanut, Licorice Red or Black, Paper Towels, Toilet Paper, Shampoo, Deodorant, and Cream Rinse. Give me a break, folks. What do you really just... No, don't. You can't. No, see, you can't do that. The new person's going, he just memorized it. It is. I mean, there's a presentation book, American Tourister, BF Goodrich, Botany 500, Canon. It's all in alphabetical order. You memorize it. But pick 3 companies you're comfortable with. It's part of an outfit called Joy Enterprises. Learn the responses. Learn the responses. And you've tamed the lion. Learn the responses and you've tamed... So that's how you call a family or a friend member. Now, once you've called all your family and friends... You're going to move on in the business because you've got the armor and you might have sponsored 1 or 2 of them. Not a big deal, but now you've got your armor on. Okay, now I'm going to tell you, this is how we built our business. I built a lot of my business off cold contacts. Anybody have a business card I can borrow? Just, thank you. And this, I'm going to show you. Now I'm going to tell you how to do this. I didn't want rejection. The people that stand up and say, oh, I love rejection. I don't believe that. I just don't believe it. I think we're all normal people, and I don't think anybody loves rejection. So I never invited it. I never could walk up to somebody and say, hey, do you have any problem? Would you be interested in making some extra money? You interested in expanding your income circle? I never could say that to somebody because they might look at me and say, no. And I'm telling you, just my person, I didn't like that. So I never asked that. Here's how I did it. I'd find somebody that was sharp. Now listen, let me tell you who to sponsor. Sponsor people you have respect for, not influence over. You want to build a big business? Sponsor people you have respect for, not influence over. You'll hear talk about building a Super Bowl team. Well, you got to build a Super Bowl caliber team with players that are willing to go to practice. Problem with people in this business is they try and build their team with players that aren't even willing to go to practice. They just try and get someone in. They try and sell this business. Folks, understand, they'll tell you doctors are a dime a dozen, good ones are hard to find. Attorneys are a dime a dozen, good ones are hard to find. CPAs are a dime a dozen, good ones are hard to find. Ditch diggers are a dime a dozen, good ones are hard to find. With all due respect, people in this business are a dime a dozen, good ones are hard to find. What's the secret? The secret is doing something when you get in and getting in with the right people. It's doing something when you get in and getting in with the right people on the right team. That's one reason we're so honored to speak to y'all. You couldn't be on a better team. You could not find yourself, if you had to handpick this team, on a better team than the one you're on right now. That's one of the greatest secrets in this business. So here's what I did. Listen, when I would start contacting people, I would look for people that had a bounce in their step. That's who I would look for. I didn't want to look for the person do y'all have people here with signs that say we'll work for food? Do y'all have those here on street corners? Okay. And it doesn't mean they can't do this business. That's not what I'm saying. But chances are they're probably not willing to work for food. They're willing to work for $1 or hold their hand out long enough. Now, I'm not being critical, but I'm saying you're not necessarily looking for that person. If you're going to cold contact somebody, raise your odds. Contact somebody with a bounce in their step. Contact somebody that's walking like they know where they're going. It's an attitude. It's something you see. Said this to me. He said, we all get in this business and we face a great wall. And some of us get here on the wall and some of us get here on the wall when we start. And it's books, tapes, seminars, books, tapes, seminars, books, tapes, seminars, and we're over the wall. For some people, it's just books, tapes, seminars, and we're over the wall. It didn't take as much to get over the wall. Some of you, I have already walked into this business with years of people skills. Use them. We have a tendency, you don't know anything about this business. No, you get in not knowing anything about this business, but you've got 30 years of people skills you've already developed. Use it to your benefit. You may have less books, tapes, seminars. So when I'm going to contact somebody, I'm looking for someone like that. Somebody that's got that bounce, and this is all I do. This is it. Excuse me, could you help me? By the way, my name is Bo Short. I'm sorry, what's your name?
Jeff Short.
Jeff, nice to meet you. Are you from around here?
No.
Really, where are you from? Get out of town. Are you serious? Well, forget what I wanted to ask you about. Maybe you can help me out. This is a fluke. I'm in the process of expanding a business in the Oklahoma market. And basically, I'm looking for a go-getter type. Do you know anybody like that? I'll tell you what, I don't have time to talk right now, but if you write your name and number down the back of my card, I'll call you when I get a chance. Hey, Jeff, it was nice to meet you. I'll give you a holler when I get a chance. That was it. That's how I contacted people. Now, look, here's the thing. If they weren't from around here, as he said, I'm not from around here, I said, well, where are you from? Well, I'm from Milwaukee. Are you serious? Boy, this is a fluke. Forget what I wanted to ask you about. Maybe you could help me. I'm in the process of expanding a business in the Milwaukee market. And basically, I'm looking for a go-getter type. I pause right there because you got to collect your thoughts. You don't want it to be repetitive. I'm looking for a go-getter type. Do you know anybody like that? Now, are you from around here? Okay, who's from around here? Okay, now watch. This is when somebody's from around here. Excuse me. Now, here's what you can do. Folks, I did this 5 times. First time. Excuse me, could you help me? By the way, my name is Bo Short. I'm sorry, what's your name?
Valjean.
Valjean, nice to meet you. Are you from around here?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. Maybe you can help me. And then I would get scared. Okay? Then I would start to get scared. And this is what I did 5 times in a row. How do I get to Overland Park Mall?
You're talking to the right person.
And then I'd get directions, or they'd say, I don't know. I'd say, hey, thank you, Valjean. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. And then I'd walk away. But you know what I did? After 5 times of doing it, I got used to walking up to somebody. I got used to the repetition now of approaching someone. Understand, folks, it's all right. I got used to the repetition, and I could always bail out if I needed to. It was the easiest thing in the world to bail out because I'm asking for directions. The approach is nothing more than asking for directions, except instead of asking for directions to the mall, you're asking for the directions to an ambitious person's house. Do you know one? If they don't know how to get to the mall, here's what people do. It blows my mind. Excuse me, could you help me? By the way, my name is... No, watch. Here's what I do. Excuse me, could you help me? Real nice, soft-spoken. Excuse me, could you help me? Right when I say, could you help me, I lean out and shake their hand. What are you taught as a young child? When shake their hand. Somebody shakes your hand, shake their hand. Excuse me, could you help me? I'm sorry, what's your name? Notice how I said that? Most oftentimes when they shake your hand, they don't tell you their name. They'll shake their hand, they'll go, I don't know you. That's the thought. It pops, it says, I don't know you. And I say, I'm sorry, what was your name? Like they said it and I didn't hear it. And I'm real soft about it. I mean, I'm non-confrontational about this whole thing because I'm getting ready to ask for directions. And here's what happens. If you walk up to somebody and, excuse me, could you help me? By the way, my name is, I'm sorry, what's your name?
Valjean.
Valjean, nice to meet you. Are you from around here?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. Maybe you can help me. And then you get scared and you say, how do I get to Overland Park Mall? Now watch. If they don't know, what do you usually do? You say, well, thank you very much anyway. I appreciate your time. You know what? Now, if we're asking the same question in this business, fantastic. Maybe you can help me. I'm in the process. Now I'm expanding a business. Now it's a business I'm expanding. I'm in the process of expanding a business, Valjean, and basically I'm looking for a go-getter type. Every once in a while you get somebody to do this. They're great. Every once in a while you get somebody that says this. I don't think I'd be interested in what you got. And then you say this. No, that's okay. I wasn't talking about you. Do you know anybody like that? Oh, listen. I knew that. I didn't ask them about them. And I don't say it mean. I've never been confrontational about it. They'll say real smugly, I don't think I'd be interested in what you got. And I says, no, that's all right, Valjean. I wasn't talking about you. Do you know anybody like that? Well, no, I don't know anybody. Hey, great. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. But you know what you walk away with? Posture. You walk away with your posture intact. You don't walk away beat up. You don't walk away you walk away with posture. And listen, you don't think it doesn't happen to me still? Golly, it was a month ago. I was literally going to go to the mall. I had a meeting, and then I had an open meeting, and there was a 3-hour gap, and I was going to go kill some time at the mall. I was going to go watch a movie, and Sandy said, go prospect somebody. All right, I'll go prospect somebody. I wanted to go to a movie, and she said, no, go prospect somebody. So I do what she says to do. And so I went to this mailboxes, et cetera, place, and I walked up to this guy, and as I was leaving, he gave me directions to the mall. That's all I wanted. I said, hey, maybe you can help me out, as a matter of fact. I'm in the process of expanding a business in the Orlando area, and basically I'm looking for a go-getter type. You know anybody like that? He looked at me just like this. He said, I mean, me. He said, no, I couldn't think of anybody like that. I don't think I'd be interested. Now, you know what the average distributor would say? Oh, okay. Hey, thanks a lot anyway. And they go home. Listen, you know what I did? The next person I contacted, I broke a kit 3 days later. You can't stop. It's endurance. It's the endurance that builds the business, folks. It's not the one person that says no to you and then you're defeated. Let me tell you something. You know how 4 out of 10 people tell you yes? The first 10 times you do it, every single person will say, nope, don't know anybody like that. The first 10. The second group of 10, every single one of them will say, I don't know anybody like that. The third group of 10 you do, 4 out of 10 will say, I might be interested, depends on what you got. Why? Practice. How good are you the first time, then how good are you the 21st time? It's practice. Keep it simple. It's just practice. Listen, why do you think I bailed out the first 5 times? I felt like I don't know that I can do this. But I felt in my heart that this would work. Excuse me, could you help me? By the way, my name is Bo Short. I'm sorry, what's your name?
Valjean.
Valjean, nice to meet you. Are you from around here?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. Maybe you can help me. I'm in the process of expanding. It's all eye contact, folks. I'm in the process of expanding a business in the area, and basically I'm looking for a go-getter type. Do you know anybody like that? Now watch. You see where my card is? It's not here. It's here. Do you know anybody like that? If it's here, what Valjean does is takes my card and says, no, but if I think of somebody, I'll call you. Why? Because I put this card in her space. I've given her permission to take the card out of my hand, and she's instinctively going to say, since I'm a stranger, no, but since I got your card, if I think of somebody, I'll call you. So I do this. Do you know anybody like that? Now, I don't pull out 10 cards and take one off the top. Okay? Some people, I've seen them do that. They'll have all their cards in their pocket, because they'll do this a lot, and they'll pull out all their cards. So, well, just a minute. Do you know anyone like that? Don't do that. You got one card here, have all 100 here, but have one card here. Do you know anybody like that? I'm keeping it here, so now she's got to give me a response. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Well, I might be interested. Depends on what you got. Well, I'll tell you what. I always do this. I don't have time to talk right now, but if you write your name and number down the back of my card, I'll call you when I get a chance. Valgino, it's real nice to meet you. I'll holler at you when I get a chance. Listen, have a great day, and I leave. That's it, folks. That's it. It takes me 30 seconds to make that contact. 30 seconds. When you, listen, 10 people is 5 minutes, and you have 4 qualified names. 10 people at 30 seconds apiece. It doesn't mean they're all back-to-back, but that's 5 minutes of work to walk away with 4 qualified names. Is it that easy? Yeah, once you practice. It's that easy once you practice. It's so easy. I was doing an open meeting in Gainesville, Florida. A 62-year-old man walked up to me and he said, at the end of my open, he said, Bo, I just wanted to thank you for that approach. I just got 7 names today doing that, and they were interested in hearing about the business. I said, that's fantastic. At that moment, I had a guy who's about 22, 23 years old, walks up. This is a true story. He says this to me. Hey, Bo, listen. I just wanted to thank you for, what you teach, but I tried it and it just didn't work. Now I'm getting ready to say something. I'm sitting like this. This guy looks at this guy and he says, well, how many times did you practice it? This guy says to this guy, oh, I don't know, 7 or 8 times. This guy says to this guy, well, he told you to do it 30 times before you got results, and I'm doing this. And so he says, yeah, that's true. Okay, hey, Bo, thanks so much for that. And I was like, hey, no problem. Have a great day. But listen, it's wild, folks. I was driving through Lakeland, Florida. I was getting gas in Lakeland, Florida. I spot a guy across from me. He's got a nice car, and he's dressed nice. I said, hey, how you doing? He goes, pretty good. I said, could you help me? He goes, sure. I said, by the way, my name is, walks over, shakes my hand. He says, well, my name is Mark. Hey, Mark, how you doing? It's nice to meet you. Well, it's nice to meet you, too. Listen, Mark, are you from Lakeland? Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm fantastic. Maybe you can help me out. I'm in the process of expanding a business in Lakeland, and basically I'm looking for a go-getter type. Do you know anybody like that, Mark? Hey, I've got a friend. I got a friend you need to call. Because I know he's a go-getter type. I said, great, write his name and number down on the back of my card, and I'll call him when I get a chance, and make a notation of your name so I can tell him who referred me. He said, great. I shake his hand goodbye. I get on my cell phone as I'm driving out. Jim, this is Bo Short. You don't know me from Adam. I was talking to a friend of yours today, Mark. And Mark, I was telling him about a business I was in the process of expanding, and he made me promise to call you. But listen, I don't know you from Adam, so I can't promise you anything. But as long as you're not opposed to making some extra money, why don't we sit down and talk? Well, what is it? Can you tell me a little bit about it? Absolutely. Matter of fact, I'll give you all the details when we get together. What's best, Wednesday or Thursday? No, I mean, what are you doing exactly? Well, I own my own consumer products distributing company. What do you distribute? I'm hooked up with people like Magnavox, Kellogg's, Van Heusen, folks like that. What's best for you, Wednesday or Thursday? A week later, you got in the group. It's a direct leg today, folks. I mean, you understand, it's a process of going through, no, I don't know anybody like that. No, I don't know anybody like that. I might be interested, depends on what you got, but now they're qualified. And I take that name, and I don't call them the next day. I don't call them the next day. The next day, here's what happens. At that moment of contact, they're up here. As soon as you walk away, skepticism sets in, and it becomes, I wonder what they're selling. That's fair. I mean, let's be real with each other. That's fair. That's how they feel. As soon as you walk away, nah, it can't be something good. That's the way people are. So I don't call them the next day. Why? Salespeople call the next day. I'm not selling my business to anybody. I don't call the second day. I call the third day. Why do I call the third day? Because by the third day, they've forgotten about me and they're not prepared for my phone call. So they're going to give me an honest response. Just like when I approached them, they weren't prepared for my approach, so I get a very honest response. So I don't call them prepared. And this is all my phone call consists of. And this is Bo Short. You may not remember me. I'm the guy that met you in Overland Park. I was talking to you about a business I was in the process of expanding, and you asked me to give you a call. Well, yeah, I remember. Listen, Val, I'm in kind of a hurry right now. I don't have a lot of time to talk, but I checked my calendar before I called you, and I've got Wednesday or Thursday available. What's best for you? See, she's already told me she's interested. She's already told me she'd like to hear about it. I don't need to re-qualify her. Listen, I'm kind of in a hurry, don't have a lot of time to talk, but I checked my calendar before I called you. I got some time available Wednesday or Thursday. What's best for you? What is it exactly? Doesn't this get boring? I mean, doesn't it get boring? It's like he's repeating this again. Repetition. Repetition. I'm telling you, folks, as I'm going through this, I can see some of you right now. What is it? And some of you, before I even say it, your mouths are moving. It's part of mouth. It's called Joe Enterprise. You ever heard of it? It's happening. It's repetition. That's the skills that you need to develop. It's the practice, the repetition, the confidence, the posture. And here's what you do. This is Bert. You may not remember me. I'm the guy that met you. You talk about posture, folks. You talk about having posture. Wouldn't you love it if everybody you called asked you to call them? Can you imagine you would have invitations to call people? Well, that's what it is. Hey, well, I'll tell you what, Valjean, I don't have time to talk right now, but write your name and number down the back of my card, and I'll call you when I get a chance. 9 times out of 10, when I walk away, they said, hey, great, I look forward to hearing from you. Hey, fantastic, I'll give you a call when I get a chance. This is Bo Short. You may not remember me. I'm the guy that met you the other day in Overland Park. I was talking to you about a business I was in the process of expanding, and you asked me to give you a call. Well, yeah, I remember. I'll tell you what, I'm kind of in a hurry right now. I don't have a lot of time to talk, but I checked my calendar before I called you, and I got Wednesday or Thursday available. What's best for you? Well, what is it exactly? What's part of an outfit called Joy Enterprise? You ever heard of it? Well, no. Can you tell me a little bit about it? Absolutely. Matter of fact, I'll give you all the details when we get together. What's best, Wednesday or Thursday? No, I mean, what do you do exactly? Well, I own my own consumer products distributing company. Well, I mean, like, what do you distribute? Well, I'm hooked up with people like Magnavox, Kellogg's, Van Heusen, folks like that. Now watch, important point. At that moment, I've answered sufficient questions. Fair? I've told her everything she needs to know on the phone. Very openly disclosed everything she needs to know on the phone. If she asks another question, well, can you tell me, hey, Valjean, I don't mean to cut you off. Let me ask you a question. What kind of marketing experience do you have? What did I just do? She's qualified me 4 times. She's qualified me. Well, what is it? What do you do exactly? Can you tell me a little bit about it? What do you distribute? Things like that. At some point, I told her I'm in a hurry. I got to be in a hurry. Valjean, those are good questions. But let me ask you a question. What kind of marketing experience do you have? Well, a lot or a little. It doesn't matter the answer. A lot, a little. Well, I'll tell you what, that's not a prerequisite. But when we get together, I'll give you all the details. Like I told you, I'm in kind of a hurry. What's best, Wednesday or Thursday? Well, let me ask you another question. Listen, watch. Go-getters don't ask any more questions. Go-getters. There's something instinctive about a go-getter. Who are you looking for? Folks, you're looking for go-getters. You're looking for somebody that's ready. And a go-getter at that moment realizes, wait a minute, I'm being qualified now. A go-getter says, well, you know, he's told me the name of the business. He's told me what he does. He told me what he deals in. He told me he'll tell me everything I need to know when we get together. If I ask him another question, maybe he'll tell me I'm not qualified because he'll start asking me about more of my qualifications. And I won't even have an opportunity to sit down and sell myself to him. Hey, Valjean, those are good questions. Let me ask you a question. What kind of marketing experience do you have? Well, I've got a lot. I've got a little. Well, I'll tell you what, that's not a prerequisite. But when we get together, I'll give you all the details. What's best, Wednesday or Thursday? If she persists in asking questions, well, but tell me this. Listen, Valjean, I'll tell you what, those are great questions, but I'm going to be real honest with you. Like I told you, I'm really in a hurry, and it doesn't look like this is going to work out. If anything changes, though, I've got your number. I will give you a call. But like I told you, I really got to go. It's really nice talking to you. I hate just to run, but I got to go. Have a great day. But how could you do that? Excuse me, could you help me? By the way, my name is, I'm sorry, what's your name?
Scott.
Scott, nice to meet you. It's that easy to get another name. Do you understand? When it's that easy to get another name, you don't have to spend that much time with one person that won't let you do your business. It's that easy. And when you know it's that easy, listen, it's that easy. It's not that simple. It's that easy with practice. Is it easy in the beginning? Of course not. Does it become easy? Of course it does with a sufficient amount of practice. And if she keeps asking questions, hey, I'm real nice. Hey, Valjean, those are great questions. Like I told you, I'm really in a hurry. Don't have a lot of time to talk. This doesn't look like it's going to work out. I've got to run. I've got your number. If anything changes, though, I'll give you a call. Have a great day, and I'll call you if anything changes. I hang up, and I go contact somebody else. I got another name. Go-getters say this, though. Oh, okay, I appreciate that. Listen, Wednesday's good. Great, 7 or 9. Give them choices, but they're your choices. Don't say pick a day. It's your business. Are you building a big business or not? If you're building a big business, you don't say pick a day. If you're building a big business, you prioritize your time. You say, I've got Wednesday or Thursday available. I don't care if you got every day open, folks. I don't care if you got every day available. You pick 2 days and you give them a choice of 2 days. Then give them a choice of 2 times, 7 or 9. Which one's best for you? Well, 7 o'clock's best. Hey, fantastic. Now watch. What part of town you live in? Well, I'm in the north side. Super. I'm going to be up that way anyway. Go ahead and give me directions. What part of town you live in? I'm in the south side. Fantastic. I'm going to be down that way anyway. Go ahead and give me directions. What part of town you live in? I'm in the east side. Great. I'm going to be over that way anyway. Go ahead and give me directions. Why am I doing that? Y'all ever arrange to meet people at Bob's Big Boy and they never show up? Y'all ever say, well, I'll meet you at the Burger King on the corner of this and this, and you sit for an hour and they never show up? Right? Does that ever happen here? Or does it just happen in Tampa, where I'm from? Okay, so you have a no-show? Isn't that cool that Jimmy Dunn's group never has no-shows? That is so neat that y'all, golly. So understand this, though. What part of town you live in? I'm in the north side. Fantastic. Go ahead and give me, I'll be up that way anyway. Go ahead and give me directions. What am I doing? It's a thin thread. It's a thin thread. People get in this business, they see it, they do it at the beginning on a thin thread. The role of a leader is to make that thread as strong as you can make it. So I want to be in your house showing you this business. So I'm going to assume that you want to see it, you want to see it right. Go ahead and get what part of town you live in. Great. Go ahead and get, listen, tell your husband I look forward to meeting him. Well, why does he need to be there? He'll want to take a look at what we're talking about. So tell your wife I look forward to meeting her. Why does she need to be there? Well, she'll want to take a look at what we're talking about. What's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to say, well, I'd rather you not come to the house. Great. Then what's convenient? I'll meet you somewhere. That's the worst that's going to happen. Tell your wife I look forward to meeting her. Why does she need to be there? Well, she'll want to take a look at what we're talking about. What's the worst that's going to happen? She's not going to be there. That's the worst that's going to happen. But because as a leader, you took responsibility for it, what's the best that's going to happen? She's going to give you directions to the house and the spouse is going to be there. It's real simple. 7 o'clock, great. Listen, I look forward to seeing you. Get directions and hang up. It's real basic. What happens, here's what, listen, follow me, now listen to me. Here's what's going to happen to you. About 6 o'clock that night, George and Martha come home. They're tired. They've had a bad day. George goes like this. Oh, no. Martha goes, what's wrong, George? She goes, oh, we got that appointment tonight. Oh, yeah, it's not a good night. Do you understand, folks? It's never a good night. Everybody understand that? Was it a good night for you? No. It's never a good night. Oh, we got that appointment tonight. Yeah, we sure do. Oh, listen, let's cancel that. Yeah, let's cancel that. I can't. Why not? I don't have his card. I have my card. Listen, folks, as a professional, I handed her my card. Subconsciously, consciously she received my card. Subconsciously, she kept my card, but she gave it back to me with her name and number on the back. Now she can't cancel an appointment. It's so, listen, how many times did you cancel your appointment because you knew how to get in touch with the people? It's the role of a leader is to make the thread as strong as you possibly can. So, hey, listen, tell you what, write your name and number down the back of my card and I'll give you a call when I get a chance. Fantastic. Listen, Valjean, I look forward to talking to you. Have a great day. She can't cancel the appointment. What happens? I show up at that house at 7 o'clock on the money. I don't show up 10 minutes late. I show up on time. First thing she says is this. Oh, you know something? I was going to call you and cancel. It makes you feel good, right, when you walk in the door. I was going to call you and cancel because it's really not a good night. You know what I say? All I've got is my presentation book and my profiles of success, and my wife and I are there. If it's a personal, my wife and I are there. We're there together. And I say, hey, listen, that's okay. I understand. I'll shorten this up for you. Expectation. I'll shorten this up for you. My plan takes 55 minutes. 55 minutes to an hour tops. I'm in and out of their house. 55 minutes to an hour. I could go, listen to me, I don't, but I could go for 2 hours and say, listen, let me wrap it up because I told you I'd shorten this up. And she'd go, oh, thank you very much. Expectation. They don't know how long it's supposed to take. But as you start to wrap it up, they think, hey, really, great, I appreciate that. You wrapped it up in a short, I'll wrap it up. If it makes you feel better, go 54 minutes. It doesn't matter. I mean, seriously, it doesn't matter. Go 53 minutes. Shorten it up for them. But what we do is we walk in, and the first thing Valjean does is tries to put me in the living room. You don't even go in your own living room. You don't let your kids in your own living room. I don't want to go in your living room. The most uncomfortable place in the house is in somebody's living room. Because it's the room they take strangers in. I don't want to go in their living room. So what I do, I say, listen, I tell them the truth. You can make my life a lot easier. Could we just sit here at the kitchen table? And I start taking steps into the kitchen table. And I do it pleasantly. I don't do it where rude. I say, Valjean, you can make it so much easier for me. Ask for help. The first 2 minutes you're in somebody's house is the most polite they are to you. Right? They're hospitable for the first couple minutes because they have to be. It's the way we were brought up. Valjean, I'll tell you what, you can make my life a lot easier. Could we just sit here at the kitchen table? I could go through this a lot quicker. Oh, sure. We go in. When we walk in, my wife automatically sits across from me. She just gravitates to the other side of the table across from me. But I still say, hey, guys, help me out. Would one of you sit here and one of you sit here? I could show it to you faster this way. They have no choice but to sit here and here. But I still ask politely. Hey, listen, I could tell you what, I could go through this faster for you. If one of you could sit here, why do I want to do that? I want to control eye contact. It's my business. I don't want them sitting next to each other, me sitting here, because as soon as he or she does this, I've lost control. I don't see what's going on. I have no control of it. But if I've got them like this, I control the whole meeting. Because then I'm the focal point of the meeting. Or when Sandy talks, then she becomes the focal point, but they're not crossways from us. So now I've got them like this. And I say, you guys, and I tell, listen, you ever sat down from somebody and they do this to you? You ever done this? And they won't even smile at you? And the other one's embarrassed that their spouse, whether it's male or female, is not even smiling at you, and they're sweating, thinking, oh, come on, loosen up, honey, give the guy a break. And they're just sitting like this. You know what I say to people like that? I look at them. I don't even have any, I've got the stuff sitting on the floor. I set it right down next to my chair. I'm sitting down, I've got nothing in my hands. I look at them and I say, you know, Mary, let me tell you something. I understand how you feel right now. And I use body, I understand how you feel right now. I know I'm a stranger to you. Believe me, listen, when I saw this business, I saw it from a stranger. I remember this guy sitting down in front of me, and I remember feeling like, who are you? Do me a favor. You're making me nervous. Help me out here. I can get through this a lot faster, but I understand how you feel. I know I'm a stranger. Just do me a favor, because you're making me nervous. And you know what they do? Oh, I'm sorry. And they relax. You've asked for help. You've empathized. You've elicited help from somebody, because see, they think you're there to sell them something. They think you're there to put something over on them, and you tell them, listen, can I tell you something? I understand how you feel. When I saw this, a stranger came in, and I remember doing this to him, and I didn't know what I did to him, but I'll tell you, that makes me so nervous. I'm not going to sell you anything. Just, you can help me out by just smiling once or twice, and it won't make me as nervous. And people go, I'm sorry, and they relax right away. You diffuse the situation right away. And here's what I do. This is what I do. I'm sitting there, now I'm ready. Here's how I show the plan. This is how I start. Y'all ever said this to somebody? In 2 to 5 years, if time and money weren't an object in your life, what would you do? Where would you go? What would you have? And they go, I don't know. I don't know. Y'all ever done that? You try and dream. What's the hardest part about the business? It's not the drawing the circles. It's the dream building part. You're sitting down with a perfect stranger now asking them about their life's ambitions. And they say, I don't know. Whose fault is that? It's ours. We didn't prepare the environment for them to dream build comfortably. It's our fault. Because we just asked them right up front, what would you do? Where would you go? Come on, tell me. I'll be your friend. I mean, it's crazy. So here's how I did it. Here's what I do to people. George and Mary, let me tell you, you know I'm going to show you business. And I still don't have my stuff up. I don't have my profiles near me, and I don't have my presentation book. I'm sure my wife and I are sitting there talking, maybe with a glass of water she offers. I say, listen, y'all, you know I'm here to show you business. And, golly, I'll be real honest with you. I cannot humanly give you enough information in the next 45 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an overview of this, and more importantly, I'm going to get some information for you out of my car that you can listen to and read in the privacy of your own house when I'm not around, because I understand I'm a stranger to you. But it's real important information, and let's say today's Monday, I got to get that back by Wednesday, say 7 o'clock. That's fair, isn't it? And they go like this, sure, that's fair. What have I just done? I set up my follow-up. I haven't even shown them the plan. I haven't even done anything yet, but I set my follow-up before I even begin. And I say it like, listen, I cannot humanly give you enough information in 45 minutes about this business, because we're talking about a big, big business. So what I'll do is I'll give you an overview, and more importantly, I'll give you some information you can listen to in the privacy of your own house when I'm not even here, because I know you don't know me. And take that information. That's real important stuff. I got to get that back. Let's say today's Monday. How about Wednesday at 7? That's fair, isn't it? And they go, sure, that's fair. Does it mean they'll do it? No. But does it mean they'll go through with the follow-up anyway? No. But at least they've vocalized, yeah, that's fair. Great. We'll say Wednesday at 7 then. Now, let me tell you something. I saw this business 4 years ago, and this is how I'm doing it. George and Mary, right there. This is what I'm saying. I third-party everything. George, I saw this business 4 years ago. And I'm going to tell you something. This guy asked me what I thought was the dumbest question I'd ever heard in my life. He looked me in the eye, y'all, and he said, well, Bo, in 2 to 5 years, if time and money weren't an object in your life, what would you do? Where would you go? And y'all, I couldn't help but laugh. I said, what does that have to do with anything? And he said, well, I'll be honest with you. Why would I want to show you something different if you don't want anything different? I said, well, that's fair. I can understand. You see what I'm doing? You see where I'm leading them right now? Okay. I said, well, I remember saying, well, that's fair. I understand that. What do you mean exactly then? Well, and then he asked me, he goes, well, would you have this house paid off? I said, no, I'd probably live in a different house. If that were the case, he goes, well, where would you live? I said, well, we'd love to have a house right on the beach, a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house right on the beach. He goes, what beach? I said, Clearwater Beach. He goes, that'd be nice. He goes, would you have your car paid off? I said, no, same thing. I'd probably be driving a different car. What would you drive? Well, I like the new Vipers. Yeah, those are nice. What do you like, red or black? I like the red one. Yeah, me too. But you know what he said to me then? He said, well, that's all fine and dandy. He goes, but let me ask you something important. You want more time with your family? I said, well, absolutely. He said, would you like to have more security than you have right now? I said, of course I would. Who wouldn't? He said, would you like to have more freedom to do the things you want to do that are important to you? I said, well, yes, of course. I mean, y'all can understand that. Of course I would. He said, well, let me ask you this question. Would you be willing to work 2 to 5 years for 18, 15 hours a week to get that? I said, well, absolutely I would. He said, great, then let me show you this. And so, George and Mary, I'll be real honest with you. I'm going to ask you the same question because I understand today the importance of the question. In 2 to 5 years of money and time were an object in your life, what would you do different than you're doing now? Well, we live in a different house, and I want more time with my family. I want more security. I want more freedom. You've led them. Is there anything wrong with that? Of course it's not. They don't know what it is you're looking for when you ask them the question. So you have to prepare the environment for the question by relating to them what you went through. By telling them how nuts it sounded the first time somebody said in 2 to 5 years, what would you do if time and money weren't an object in your life? I don't know. What do you want to know that for? Just get to the bottom line. You understand where I'm coming from? We prepare them by doing that. And then listen, golly, understand me, folks. If all you talk about is houses and cars and jewelry, you will not build the business. Nobody, you're not doing this for a house. You're not doing it for a car. You're not doing it for a diamond ring. You're doing it for time with your family. You're doing it for security in your life, and you're doing it for freedom. That's why you're doing it. You may want a nicer house, but I'll guarantee if you got in this for a car, you won't build it for a car. Because when the going gets tough, the car you're driving is fine. You know what you're going to build it for? Time, security, freedom. I talk a lot to people about time. Listen, it's easy to talk about the houses and cars. That's why I start off there. But I say this. I say, listen, those are really fun things, but I'm going to be honest with you. You won't do this for that. Let me ask you something that's valuable to you. Do you want more time with your children? Well, of course. See, I dare you to, now here's what I'm thinking. I dare you to tell me tomorrow you changed your mind because you don't want more time with your children. But you can tell me tomorrow you didn't want the car. That's an easy way to get out of that one. But I'm going to put you in a situation where we're going to talk about something that's truly important to you. Truly important to you. It's your time, it's your freedom, it's your security, it's your children, it's your spouse, it's your own feeling of self-satisfaction knowing you've accomplished something valuable in your life. And I'm going to bridge the gap and say those are great things, but let me ask you something important. And this is more important than that stuff, because that's just stuff. You can get that stuff doing anything well. I tell people that. You can get that stuff doing anything well. Do you want more time with your family? Yes. You want more freedom? Yes. You want more security? Yes. Let me ask you this. Would you be willing to work 2 to 5 years, 8 to 15 hours a week to be able to get that? Well, absolutely. Great. Let me show you what we're going to do. And then I show the plan. After showing the plan, I say, remember that information I told you about? Let me go get it. I go outside. Folks, out of 45, 50 minutes, the 2 most important minutes are getting ready to happen, and I'm not even in the room. I'm not even there. When I leave, my wife says this. Listen, I won't tell you this, but he's building a huge business. What's the key word? Building. You could be brand new, building a huge business. She doesn't say he's already built a huge business. She says, listen, I won't tell you this, but he's building a huge business. And if he's offering to help you, take advantage of it. Credibility. You can't edify yourself, but somebody else can edify you. As soon as I walk in with an overnight kit, and now when I walk in, I'm somebody. It's amazing. He says, for 2 minutes, let me tell you all something. I won't tell you this, but he's building a huge business. And if he's offering to help you, take advantage of it. So now when I walk in, it's like I'm somebody all of a sudden. And I walk in with my overnight kit, and I say, hey, here are the tapes, here are the books I was talking about. This is what you need to look at in here. I tell them what to look at in there. I say, listen, mark down in your calendar Wednesday at 7. I'll pick it up. I won't have as much time to spend with you. I'll probably only have 15 or 20 minutes. So I'm telling them up front I'm not going to be here long, so they're not going to cancel on me. I'll only have maybe 15 or 20 minutes, but I'll be able to answer your questions. Listen, it was really nice to spend the time with you. Y'all have a great night. We enjoyed it. Thank you for the water, and I leave. Wednesday at 7. Wednesday at 7, when I've scheduled the follow-up, I show up. And you know what I usually show up with? Here's how I usually show up. One of the things they want to do was go to Ireland. One of the things they want to do is, whatever it was, let's say it was go to Hawaii. When I show up, I go in, I say, hey, man, it's good to see you guys again. Now I know them a little bit. It's good to see you guys again. I automatically shake their hand. I automatically touch them. Don't underestimate the power of contact. Contact is, golly, folks, it's like music. It's universal. There's power in contact. There's power in a touch. And so I walk in and say, man, it's good to see you guys again. Listen, y'all got any Scotch tape? And they look at me like, what? I say, I got something for you. I was thinking about you today, and I picked up something for you. I was thinking about you today. Not I showed you this thing 2 days ago and forgot about you until now. I was thinking about you yesterday. I was thinking about you today, and I picked up. You got any Scotch tape? Well, yeah, this is going to be cool. You're going to like this. We go in the kitchen. They get Scotch tape. I've gone by a travel agency, and I got a brochure of Hawaii. I got a brochure of Ireland. And as a joke, and I say, listen, I was driving by a travel agency. I remember you saying you wanted to go to Ireland, and I thought this was so cool. And I put it on the refrigerator, and I say, listen, just do me a favor and take me with you when you go. I joke around with them. I've just put something on their refrigerator. It's hard enough to get people in your own group to put things on their refrigerator. I put it up before they even get in the business. But I do it, listen, I do it loose. I mean, I'm having fun. I'm having a good time. I don't care if he's good. I don't care if they get in. I'm having a good time. But automatically his dreams back up right in front of him. It might be, boy, I'd like to live in a farm with my children. So I'll find a picture of some children on a farm, holding their mom and dad's hands, walking. I don't care what it is. I'll say, I saw this today. I thought this was so cool. I thought about you. Let me have that Scotch tape. Let me show you something. That is so cool. Invite me over when you get that. First thing I say to him is this. Wasn't that a great tape? Wasn't that a great, whatever the tape it is you use in your overnight kit. I don't say, what'd you think of the tape? That was pretty good. Wasn't that a great tape? Same person. Yeah, that was pretty good. What'd you think of the tape? It was all right. Wasn't that a great tape? Yeah, it was pretty good. Same person, different response based on the expectation that I placed inside of them. Wasn't that a great tape? Yeah, it was pretty good. Well, yeah, I thought it was awesome when he talked about laying on the boat, looking at the stars with his children, talking about being free. I thought that was so cool. But I know you got to have questions, and I'm in kind of a hurry too. What can I answer for you? How to get started? How to make a list of names? How to contact people? What did I just plant seeds of? Getting started questions. Not, what do you think? You think you might be interested? Well, is it something you want to do? I don't ask those kind of things. What kind of questions you got? How to get started? How to build a list of names? How to contact people? What can I answer for you? And then it starts, folks. You've got contacting, you've got inviting, and the third skill is overcoming objections. 95% of the people never say, man, get me a kid. I'm getting in your business with you and I'm pumped. They don't do that. Or maybe they do it here. They don't do it in Florida. They look at you cross-eyed first and they say, yeah, this looks pretty good, but contacting, inviting, and overcoming objections. Overcoming objections. It's a skill. It's the responses again. Overcoming objections. They say, this looks pretty good, but forget what they say to me. What do they say to you? Well, I'm sorry? I just won't do it. What part of it won't you do? He says, I just won't do it. I appreciate that. What part of it won't you do? When you say you won't do it, what do you mean you won't do it? Well, that's fair. Can I ask you a question then? You be real honest with me. He says, I won't go out, I won't contact, I won't do anything. Can I ask you a question then? 2 nights ago when you and I sat down, you said to me that you wanted more time with your family and you wanted more security. And I asked you if you'd be willing to work 8 to 15 hours a week for 2 to 5 years to do it, and you said absolutely. What changed? I don't say anything. What changed? And I don't say anything. The rubber meets the road in your business at some point, folks. It's called posture. It's called looking at somebody asking the hard question. Real nicely, real soft. What changed? Very empathetically. What changed? What else here? This looks good, but. Yes. I don't have the time right now. Man, I can appreciate that. Can I ask you a question, though? What part of it don't you have the time for? The part where you said you wanted to see your spouse retire early or put your kids in a better college? Now, I'm not going to be rude. I asked a question. She's going to say, well, no, we talked about it. We were talking about it when you left, and we started thinking about our schedule. I mean, it's not that easy. We started talking about it, and we started thinking of our schedule. We're just swamped. We just really don't have that much time. I can appreciate that. Listen, I understand. Can I ask you something on you? And listen, you be honest with me, because you won't hurt my feelings. When we sat down 2 nights ago, you looked at me and you said, Bo, I want more security with my family. I want more freedom. I want to see my kids in a better college. Did you mean that? You told me 2 nights ago that if you could get that, you would be willing to work 2 to 5 years, 8 to 15 hours a week. Did you mean that? Yeah? Great. And what's changed? Let me ask you something. Are you a little nervous about doing it? Maybe that's what you're trying to tell me? Because if you are, listen, I understand. I was scared to death. I didn't know how to contact people. I didn't know how to do any of that. But all of a sudden I remember, I was like what I did for a living. I was vice president for an insurance company. If you'd told me 10 years ago you're going to be a vice president for an insurance company, I'd have been scared to death. I wouldn't know what to do, but I went through a training program that someone took me by the hand and taught me how to do that. Let me ask you a question. Do you know anyone named Bob or Mark or Mary or Sally? And I start building a list of names of people. This looks pretty good, but... Wait, I'm sorry, I can't afford it. Man, I can appreciate that. Who said that? I can appreciate that. You mean you can't afford it? You actually getting started? Can I ask you a question, though, and you be real honest with me? Is that really all that's holding you back? Is just the startup cost? I'll tell you what. Here's my card. if anything changes, because I've always realized that if people's car broke down, they get it fixed. They'd come up with the money somehow to get it fixed. Well, when their financial vehicle doesn't work, they come up with the money to get it fixed. I understand, but here's my card. If anything changes, call me. I'll be happy to come by and help you. What else do you hear? Yes, ma'am. My wife won't let me. This looks good, but my wife won't let me do it. I can appreciate that. What part of it won't she let you do? The part where you're going to help her retire early or put your kids in a better college? No, that's not it. My wife, she just said she doesn't want anything to do with this. Let me ask you something then. Do you want more security? Do you want more freedom? Well, I'll help you do it. I'll help you do it. Your wife doesn't have to do this. You don't make someone do something they're not going to do. But let me tell you this. As soon as you and I start doing it well, your wife's going to become your biggest cheerleader because she'll be proud of you for it. Do you know anyone named Mark or Tom or Mary or Sally? Great. What's your name?
Rhonda Lynn.
I'm sorry?
Rhonda Lynn.
Rhonda? Oh, great. You know anyone named Mark? Great. Mark, you don't know me from Adam. I was sitting with Rhonda today. I was talking about a business I was in the process of expanding, and she made me promise to call you, Mark. Listen, I don't know you from Adam, so I can't promise you anything. But as long as you're not opposed to making some extra money, Rhonda and I swing by, we'll run some numbers by about something we're doing. If it turns you on, great. If not, flush it. No big deal. What else do you have? This looks good, but... It's how you say it. It's not what you say. It's how you say it. I never look at somebody and say, well, what's wrong? Don't you have time for getting more time with your family, more security in your life? I would never say that to somebody. You told me 2 nights ago, I want more time. I want more freedom. I want more security. I'm willing to work. I didn't show them the plan unless they said, yeah, I'm willing to work 2 to 5 years, 8 to 15 hours a week. You know what people do? They show this plan without qualifying with that question. Well, then you're going to lose. If somebody says to me when I ask that, nope, I wouldn't, I say, great, here's my card. If anything changes, call me. I don't even show them the plan. I don't even get into it. So that now when I'm asking, they say, well, we don't have time. I say, well, I can appreciate. I don't say, what's wrong with you? I say, man, I can appreciate that. When I saw this, I was working 65 hours a week. Let me ask you something, though, really, with what you're saying. What part of it don't you have time for? The part where you bring your spouse home from work early like you said you wanted to do 2 nights ago or put your kids in a better college? What part don't you have the time for? I don't say it confrontationally, empathetically. Empathetically. Not simply empathetically I say it. So I've never offended anybody ever saying that. What else do you... this looks good, but... Man, I can appreciate that. Listen, remember when we sat down 2 nights ago? You and I were talking, and I looked at you and I said, listen, you're not going to do this for a house or a car. Forget that. Let's talk about something that's important to you. Just be honest with me. What's your first name? Roy. Be honest with me, Roy. Do you think more time with your family and more security and more freedom is materialistic? Okay, that's what we're talking about. I'm not talking about houses and cars and jewelry. You can get that being successful at anything. I'm talking about time with your family. If that's materialistic, I guess I am. But I love to spend time with my family. I love to have more security, and I love to have more freedom because I'm the kind of husband I've always wanted to be now because I don't have financial stress on me. Is that what you're looking for, Roy? All right, then don't get in this for a car. Get in this for time with your family. If that's what you're interested in, great, I'll show you how to get it. Do you know anyone named Mark, anyone named Tom, anyone named Mary, anyone named Sally? Hey, this looks pretty good, but what else do you hear? Yes, sir?
I don't think it'll work.
I don't think it'll work. I can appreciate that. What part of it don't you think will work? Listen, you know why I asked that question? Everybody, they'll say things like this. It's a pyramid. And you know what we do? We defend it. You know what I say? What's a pyramid? Well, you know, that's that thing where that guy at the top makes all the money. That's what they say. That's their comeback. What's a pyramid? It's that thing where the guy at the top makes all the money. Can I ask you a question, though? Sure. Who do you work for? Will you ever make more than your boss? No. Will he ever make more than his boss? No. That's a pyramid. And then I explain to him what it is versus what it's not. It's a pyramid. So when somebody says, I don't think it'll work, here's what I say. Listen, I can appreciate that. What part about it won't work? I don't know. I just don't think this will work. Chevrolet thought it worked. Magnavox thought it worked. You know what I figured it? I figured they had more attorneys and accountants looking at this than you and I put together would ever have. And if they figured it would work, I figured I wasn't going to be one that said it wouldn't. Because if they knew something I didn't know, as a matter of fact, this concept itself has produced 20% of the millionaires in America over the last 10 years, and this business has produced overwhelming majority of those. You know, when somebody says it doesn't work, I had a guy the other day. Now I'm going to third party it, because I'm going to zing him, okay? But I'm going to do it real nice. This looks, no, but I mean, listen, I will not say it rudely. You don't feel that way, do you? Of course not. I didn't think you did. I would have sat down with you for an hour the other night if I felt like you did. I knew you were ambitious when you said you wanted those things that were important to you. I knew you were. Let me ask you something. You know anyone named Mark or Tom or Mary or Sally? Let me show you how to do this. Just a couple more. This looks good, but yes, way in the back. I can understand that. I remember, every once in a while you'll have somebody say, well, it depends on the products. Y'all ever had that? Every once in a while you have somebody say, it depends on the products. And you know what, folks? When you're selling a water filter to somebody, it depends on the products. When you're selling a line of cosmetics they've never heard of, it depends on the products. When you're selling a protein cookie to somebody, it depends on the products. When you're selling rubber eyelashes to somebody, it depends on the products. When you're selling run-free pantyhose to somebody, it depends on the products. But when you're talking about M&Ms and Seiko watches and ketchup and mustard and toilet paper, it has nothing to do with the products. It depends on you. It depends on you. That's where the fear comes in. So when somebody says, well, I don't think we'd use enough of the products, here's all I say. Listen, I understand that part. Do you ever shop at Sears or Penny's or Walmart or any place like that? 7-Eleven? Yes? Do you ever buy M&Ms or paper towels or shampoo or deodorant or ketchup and mustard and peanut butter jelly, stuff like that? All right, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to buy those things together, and I'll show you how to make the business work like that. By yourself, you'll never create enough volume. That's why we're going to build a big business together. Do you know anyone named Mark or Tom or Sally or Mary? You figure they use ketchup and mustard and peanut butter jelly and shampoo and deodorant? Great, let me show you how to build the business then. Let me ask you a question. Did you see Forrest Gump? Did you like it? How much did you spend when you went? $7 for a ticket? They didn't do millions of dollars from your $7. Now, how many of y'all went to see Forrest Gump? They did millions of dollars from that. Self-consumption. You use yours, you use yours, you use yours, you use yours. We create a lot of volume. That's how Sam Walt became the wealthiest man in America. We all went in and bought our own ketchup and mustard and paper towels and toilet paper. One more, real quick. This looks good, but yes, ma'am. Well, I really do appreciate that, because I remember maybe feeling that in the beginning until I saw that and I sort of felt that way, and then I looked into it because I'm a skeptical person, and let me tell you, don't take this wrong. I really feel like if you're not skeptical, you're a fool. I feel like the best business people in the world are the most skeptical people in the world because they want factual information. They don't want a bunch of hype. Fair? You understand that. So I remember thinking, well, I wonder how the pricing is. And you know what I found out? Statistically, 82% of the products are the same price or less than Sears or Penny's. Number one, Federal Trade Commission approved. 82% of the products are the same price or less than Sears, Penny's, or Spiegel's. Number one. Number two, now think about this. We have concentrated products. You'll have a bottle for $8, and it's easy to look and say that's an $8 bottle. But that $8 bottle equals about $10 of other competitive products because it's concentrated. And you know what I found out about this business once I got started in it? Some things were $1 more, some things were about the same, and some things were a little cheaper. And it didn't matter. Because if it was a little cheaper, I said, that's a good deal. If it was $1 more, I said, that's an investment in my future. That's the way I felt about that when I saw it. And you know what I found out about doing that is do y'all have Pace out here, Price Club? So you know what I'm talking about, Sam's? I had a lady tell me the other day, she said, if I can save money, a third party, here it comes. I had a lady the other day say, if I can save money doing this, I'll do it. And I looked at her and I said, well, ma'am, how many 50-cent coupons is it going to take to put your kids in the college of their choice? It'll never happen. You'll never save your way to wealth. You're not doing this business to save money. You're doing this business to make money that you can save. Because it's a business first. And if all you want to do is go to Sam's, I told her, if all you want to do is go to Sam's, go. But don't ever complain because your kids can't go to the college they want to go to. This is a business first. One more, real quick. Yes, sir. I have a friend that did this and said it didn't work. Y'all ever heard that one? I have a friend. Listen, I can appreciate that. I had a guy tell me that the other day. Third party. I had a guy tell me that the other day, and I remember looking at him and saying, the average person doesn't make it in this business. Of course, the average person doesn't stay married. The average person doesn't stick to a diet. And a health spa has a limited amount of square footage, but they have an unlimited amount of memberships. Okay? So the average person doesn't really do anything. We can agree to that. Do you have the same ambition level your friend has? Then don't judge yourself by your friend. Don't judge yourself by average people. Do you want more time with your family? Do you want more security in your life? Let me show you how to get it. Don't ever base your potential success in life on someone else's failure. The biggest mistake you could make. If you got sick, would you go to a doctor or somebody that flunked out of medical school? I'm relating something to them they can relate to now. If you got sick, would you go? Well, of course I'd go to a doctor. Then don't go to somebody that failed and ask their opinion. They can only teach you one thing, how to fail. And that's not what you need to learn how to do. You need to learn how to succeed. As a matter of fact, here's a tape of somebody that succeeded. And one thing they'll tell you is, do you know anyone named Mark or Tom or Mary or Sally? Okay, look, wrap it up. That's it. Listen, here's the thing. Overcoming the objections is nothing more than having something valuable they wanted. That's why anything, if it was just a car or a house, everything I said you could have knocked down. Everything. We changed our mind, but we don't want a house. We don't want the car. But time with your family and security, you can't knock down. You can't do it. And if you can, you wouldn't build the business in the first place. God bless you guys. Thank you.